Welcome to the wrap-up session of the Paris Peace Forum Hackathon. As you know, the Paris Peace Forum was designed as a unique platform to advance concrete solutions in various fields for sustainable peace. So it was all natural for us to embed a hackathon within our official program. The Paris Peace Forum Hackathon was not conceived as a side program or a side event. It was at the very core of the gathering in order to offer space for talents from all around the world to design new solutions. As you may know, a hackathon is a design sprint-like event in which computer programmers, designers, experts collaborate intensively on projects. So this is how, for the last 3 days, up to 80 people from 30 countries participated in the Paris Peace Forum Hackathon. We had 1/3 of data scientists, 1/3 of policy analysts, and 1/3 of researchers, web developers, designers. They all worked in the Grande Halle, upstairs in the space for innovation, to invent new solutions to major issues. For this first edition of the Paris Peace Forum Hackathon, we decided to focus our attention on the issue of the transparency of public finances. To make this hackathon the most fruitful possible, we offered participants to tackle 4 different challenges brought by the 4 hackathon partners of the Paris Peace Forum. A first challenge was on the transparency of public procurement procedures, which was brought by the government digital lab, Etalab. A second challenge was the transparency of the budget of international organizations proposed by the Open State Foundation. A third challenge was on the transparency of the budget of major international events, with a focus on the Olympics Games, brought by the Open Contracting Partnership. And finally, a fourth challenge, focused on the communication of public financial data to the public, which was proposed by the World Bank. So for 3 days, the participants of the hackathon shared their insights and put all their energy in creating new solutions to tackle these 4 challenges. And the result is truly remarkable. I am now happy to invite on stage, one after the other, the best solutions that were developed in each of these challenges by the different teams of the hackathon, along with the challengers. They worked on the transparency of major international event budgets, and more precisely on the case of the next 2024 Olympic Games in France. Please welcome Carey, who represents the Open Contracting Partnership, and Rob, the team leader of the project Fair Play for Olympics Contracts, who was selected. Welcome, Carey. So can you tell us more about your challenge, and we'll let Rob explain how they designed their solution.
Absolutely. Merci, Marc. I'm Carey KLUTTZ from the Open Contracting Partnership. I'm very excited to have led this challenge that was looking at setting a gold standard when it comes to the governance of large infrastructure projects. And we're at this really unique moment where France is both, as we know, setting a new standard for governance generally, and at the same time are hosting the Paris 2024 Olympics. So we decided to look at the biggest show on earth and dig into that a bit. And so we quickly went beyond transparency and accountability itself to look a bit beyond that. And we took it from 2 different angles. One, we looked at economic inclusion, and the other at public participation and engagement as 2 of the key strategies behind a really open and transparent Olympics that would deliver for the citizens of Paris and beyond. And so Rob is part of our awesome team who's sitting around me here, who worked for days and nights over the past couple of days to put together this pitch. He's going to tell you a little bit about how, excuse me, how we can look at beyond transparency and accountability, opening up information around availability of public procurement and more broadly to create fair play for Olympics contracts.
Thank you, Carey. And almost 7 billion euros is the budget for the Paris Games. And what we want to do is broaden the participation of French companies into this tremendous undertaking. And we really want to bring a spotlight onto the small to medium-sized enterprises because they make up 99% of registered companies in France. They also employ 65% of the workers in France. They're really the gem of the French economy, yet that gem is going to have difficulty to shine in the current circumstances of the buying process because buying processes for large international events are very difficult.
Please.
And so what I want to draw attention to is these buying processes are very complex, and you have to deal with multiple buying systems, and it's very difficult for small to medium-sized enterprises to participate. For large organizations, they have people dedicated to this role. Yet for small enterprises, it's usually the owner or the key staff that have to be involved in doing the bids. And that takes time and energy away from their base business. And at the same time, they only partially fit most of the contracts that are put up for bid. So it's very difficult for them to decide whether they should even be in the process or not. And part of this is to come up with a solution that gives them one spot that they can go to find these opportunities. And there we go. So the solution, we've titled it La Porte, and what this is a single point of access for buying, and this sits on top of the existing procurement ecosystem, doesn't replace it, it extends on it. And using the Open Contracting Data Standard, it is a method for an engine for putting innovation and also economic inclusion into the process. And so some of the things, other than just being a single point, is also a place where small to medium-sized groups can get together and network to create their own bids so that they can work together collaboratively. So a collaborative networking component. And if they have that, then that will help them participate in some of the bigger bids. So just to talk about some of the features of this platform. First part is the ergonomics. We want to make this people designed centered so that it's very easy for people to interact with. We also want to take procurement speak, which is often very complicated, and break it down to common language, which is easier to understand. So it's easier for them to access the contracting opportunities. Also, on top of this, we want to bring together some of the subcontracting and networking components that I mentioned earlier so that they can participate together in the bids. But also, even if they don't win the bid and a larger organization gets it, to then be able to participate and bid for the subcontracting opportunities, which are equally valuable. And then when you talk about extending this up the procurement chain into the actual planning stage beyond tendering so that they can actually be involved at the early stages of the process as well. And then if we go down into the analytic side of things, we really want to start looking at the opportunities to extend the buyers and the suppliers more information so that actually not just the buyers get the information, but suppliers themselves can start providing feedback on are these RFPs and tenders actually usable and easy to interpret, and have feedback to the buyers to say you need to improve this if you want the small to medium-sized enterprises to participate. Also, analytics on who are the small to medium-sized enterprises that are currently active in Paris 2024 so that they have an idea of where they're standing from a baseline and then see how these systems actually help them move it forward. And then after that, to be able to do things to help protect the viability, the financial viability of these small enterprises dealing in these big projects so that things like late payments are dealt with and also mitigating any other macroeconomic things that might be impacting them.
Excellent.
And so one last thing to say to conclude is to quote from the Olympic motto, faster, higher, stronger. Faster, frictionless participation for French businesses. Higher numbers of French organizations being able to participate in a successful Olympics, and stronger, leave the French economy stronger than it was before Paris 2024. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob. So we hope that we'll have the most transparent Olympic Games in France in the history, thanks to Rob in 2024. So now I'm very happy to call on stage Romain from Etalab and the team leader Charlotte from the project Know Your Chances, who worked on the transparency of public procurement procedures in general. So Romain, can you tell us more about your challenge and the challenge you brought, and then we'll let Charlotte explain what solutions they developed.
Merci, Marc. Etalab team is dedicated to open data, open government, and data-driven policies. Since some years, we are working a lot on public procurement transparency in order to create more transparency and more accountability around public procurement sector. That's why this hackathon was a perfect occasion to deal with this challenge. That's why we decided to handle the subject of more transparency around public procurement in order to include more SMEs in the public procurement process. We are very proud and very happy to work with an amazing team which dedicated 2 days and 2 nights to develop a very good project based on a dashboard that I will let Charlotte introduce briefly.
Many thanks, Romain. So what I'm talking about today and what this project is on is public procurement. So what does it mean? Let's say you're public administration and you are facing a need. The way to answer it is to publish an ad on a website. In France, the BOMP website. Many firms will be applying, and you will pick one of them that best suits you. So in France, on the website, the BOMP website that governs all public tenders advertisement, you will find 600,000 public tenders of more than 900,000 euros. So if you are small, and most of those tenders are answered by very large enterprises, and small and medium-sized enterprises are set aside. They don't reply to those offers. Our idea was to enhance, to foster the access of small and medium-sized enterprises to public procurement contracts. So how do we do that? First of all, we created a dashboard that provided them with the key criteria they will be searching for. They will be able to compare themselves with the others. And last but not least, I'm just like, there is a bee here. And last but not least, we will help them know the market. So here we go with the dashboard. Many thanks. So here we go with the dashboard. There is like 3 different tabs. The first one is the dashboard tab. The second one is the contract tab, where you can find your competitors. And the last one is a map, where you have the different, where the offers are located and what will better suit you. So why does it matter? Why is it important today? It's important because it will help improve efficiency. It will be very useful for the government to lower the prices, increase the quality, lower public spending. On a citizen point of view, you and me, we are the stakeholder, and we also want to know. And finally, this solution is easily scalable. It can be implemented in many countries, and it can really be a game changer for countries, for example, that face fraud problems.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Charlotte. Thank you, Romain. So I'm now now calling on stage Sicco from the Open State Foundation and the team leader Tina with the project Contract Fit to speak about the financial transparency of international organizations' budgets. So, Sicco, let's explain to us what was the challenge.
Thank you to the Paris Peace Forum for hosting us. For this challenge, we focused on the following question. How can data of the Open Multilaterals project be used to increase the financial transparency of multilateral organizations? The Open Multilaterals project aims to publish the budgets, spending, and procurements of multilateral organizations online and make it more accessible. Some multilaterals are already quite transparent. For example, the World Bank and the European Commission. Others are severely lacking, like NATO and parts of the UN. They don't publish all of their financial data online in an easy-to-reuse format. As a first step, we retrieved the NATO and UN procurement contracts from their PDF files and published them as spreadsheets online so others can use it and analyze it. During this hackathon, 5 teams worked with this data, and now the winning team will show you a great example of what you can do with it.
Please, Tina.
Thank you, Sicco. So, who many of you did know that the World Bank published about 18,000 different data sets this year? Well, me neither. So, obviously, we have an abundance of data available online, but how can we make this open data useful? So, imagine that you're a supplier of medical services in Nigeria, and you want to find international business opportunities to expand your business. Well, first, you have to find the multinational organizations that fit to your business profile. Second, you have to go through hundreds of pages of procurement requirements to finally file in your application. That certainly takes a lot of time for most of companies, whereas this information is actually available within the data. But it's usually encrypted in CSV formats and not understandable for the general public. So this takes a lot of energy and effort. And even over that, a lot of times, it's the same countries and companies that get those contracts year by year. For example, did you know that the value of procurement contracts in the US in construction is about $5 million? On the other hand, the value of the same contracts in sub-Saharan Africa are only about $200,000. So that means the value of the US is about 25 times higher than in sub-Saharan Africa. So our goal was to tackle this problem and make the procurement application process more accessible and equal for companies worldwide. We created a website, and in this website, we gathered the data from all kinds of different multilateral organizations and presented it in an understandable format. Companies file in their country of residence and the sector they're working in, and we provide them with a list of multinational organizations that fit the best to their profile. We believe that with our idea, we will have 3 main areas of impact. First, companies can prioritize their application. They can see which organizations are the most promising in terms of number of contracts and value of contracts, and can strike out those organizations that don't fit to their profile in the first place. Second, we can make the application process more transparent. Even the civil society can see on our homepage how many countries get most of the contracts. And finally, we believe that we can leverage the sector's economy and help industries and finally also countries to develop in the long term. So the supplier in Nigeria, in the end, will have the opportunity to see which multinational organizations fit best to his profile, file in his application more efficient and quicker, and in the end, will have a larger scope of his business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Sicco. Now let me call on stage Sam from the World Bank and Mona, who is the team leader of the project tackling climate change.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam FRAIBERGER, and I'm a data scientist at the World Bank. So the question we've asked the team was, can we provide a richer, more detailed, and up-to-date understanding of climate finance commitment and spending by countries all around the world? So we've had 3 amazing teams who worked very long hours on this challenge over the past 3 days. Most of the team members were new to the field of climate finance, yet they were able to implement very innovative and creative solutions to improve our understanding of climate finance. We had the difficult task to pick a winning team. One team implemented an AI tool to predict the impact of climate investment, and another team developed the prototype of an app to make climate data more transparent. But we had to pick a winner. So Mona, from the winning team, will present their project called Tackling Climate Change.
Thank you. So, climate change. I guess you're all concerned about climate change. So actually, our project addresses all of you. You might be very well educated, you're probably also engaged in the topic, but you have one problem, and that is you're not very well informed about climate change funding. You don't know where the funds actually go to, in which countries, to what projects. Okay, maybe there are a few amongst you who actually did the work and downloaded all the huge databases. They used a fancy statistical program and analyzed the data, and now they have a better overview. But maybe you didn't. You didn't do all this work. So we provide a solution for you. So how do we do that? First of all, we created an interactive platform with several maps showing you the vulnerability of each country. Vulnerability in terms of how much a country is affected by climate change, but also how is it even capable to cope with all the consequences. So on this map, you can click on every country and find even more specific information about the country. Which sector is affected the most? There are countries that are more affected by food security. Others are facing issues about water supply. So secondly, we provide also information about the funds that are flowing into the countries. So which country receives what kind of fund. But beyond all this information, we provide you with another very useful tool, and that is our index. Our index actually combines these 2 figures, so the fundings and the vulnerability. And it shows you where funds are actually lacking, so which countries are underfunded. And we also provide a list with several country-specific NGOs and their sector so that you can go to their website and learn even more about their work. So actually, our solution not only informs you, but it also empowers you. So time for action. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mona. So let me now conclude this hackathon wrap-up by warmly thanking all hackathon participants, challengers and mentors for their dedication and their hard work. Thank you so much to our hackathon partners, the Open State Foundation, the Open Contracting Partnership, Etalab, and of course the World Bank, with a special attention to the World Bank as, with its support, we could invite 30 participants from all around the world who could not have joined us otherwise. So a round of applause for our hackathon partners. A warm thank to all participants and mentors who were the active actors of the hackathon for coming to the Paris Peace Forum with your talent, your intelligence and your expertise. All your solutions will be showcased on our website, parispeaceforum.org, and on a collaborative platform so that your work can go on after the forum. For those who want to contribute to these projects, who took part in the hackathon or not, I am happy to announce that our challengers will share the projects and code repositories in hacker language. As a final word, please note that we look forward to welcoming you at the next edition of the Paris Peace Forum in November 2019 to share how the community made these projects blossom. So once again, thanks to all, and a round of applause to the whole hackathon community.